Roses are red. Was black and gold joyous or jaded? This is NXT TakeOver. Vengeance Day graded. During the kickoff show, we are introduced to the newest member of the NXT locker room, L.A. Knight, the former Eli Drake, making his presence felt during the kickoff show, interrupting Wade Barrett, Sam Roberts, and Brandon Walker to basically put the NXT locker room on notice. Good to see LA Knight now part of the roster. I think there'll be a lot of discussions about the choice of name. Personally, I like it. I think it suits the bombasticness that the former Eli Drake will bring to the company. Personally, I'm all for it. The show starts proper with the finals of the Women's Dusty Cup. It is Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Gonzalez dominant every single time she is in this match. And the only time that Shotzi and Ember are able to get a look in is when Dakota Kai is legal. There's a point in this match where Ember Moon puts Dakota Kai in a leg lock for days, it feels like. And no matter what she does, she can't make the tag. We even see some heel shenanigans from Shotzi and Ember. As Dakota's close to making the tag, they manage what happens is we see Ember pull Dakota all the way back to their corner. Raquel Gonzalez gets into the ring to try and make the save. The referee is distracted, doesn't see the tag between Moon and Shotzi, and then Moon and Shotzi get all angry with the ref for not seeing the tag, and then they knock Raquel Gonzalez off the apron. Just some little tinges of heelness during this whole exchange. Kai able to break out of the leg lock, tag Raquel Gonzalez, who just runs wild from here. The match breaks down shortly after this, with Shotzi getting powerbombed into the barricade. It leaves Ember all on her Todd to face both Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. She weathers a storm. She lands a Rough Rider and an Eclipse onto Gonzalez, but the ref gets distracted by Kai entering the ring, so doesn't administer the count. I don't know whether that's ever happened in the history of wrestling, where they've gone, oh, there's someone trying to get in the ring, we best stop counting. Shotzi gets back into this one with a big missile dropkick on Gonzalez, gets the hot tag soon after that, starts going wild on everybody, nearly breaks her neck on an avalanche sliced bread, and nearly cracks her head off the announce table with a dive outside the ring. Jeez, Shotzi, calm down. The end comes with Raquel muscling Ember out of the ring, just really almost deadlift pouncing Ember Moon out of the ring, and then throwing her off of the walkway into the pit below. Not even a ball pit. Shotzi's on her own at this point. She succumbs to an assisted splash from Raquel and Dakota Kai and a one-armed powerbomb. Gonzalez and Kai both jump on top of Dakota Kai for the three, and Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai are the first winners ever of the Women's Dusty Cup. A- to get us started. The best match of the women's brackets without a shadow of a doubt. Hard hitting, well fought by everybody. Some tiny bits of confusion, like some of the heel tendencies from the other team weren't massively necessary, but not enough to knock the grade down too far on this one. Raquel Gonzalez, the real star here, though. Like there is money in them there Raquel Gonzalez hills, I'm telling you now, and she really shone throughout this match, looked unstoppable. The North American Championship on the line, Johnny Gargano defending against Kushida. Before the match starts, the Way are making their way to the ring, and Austin Theory gets a hand put over his mouth, and he is pulled into the darkness, presumably by Dexter Lumis. We never quite find out. Gargano tells Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae to go find him, and he goes it alone against Kushida. Some solid techers to get us started, and we see Kushida get the upper hand on Johnny Gargano. It spills to the outside, where Gargano starts to get a little bit of a lead until Gargano succumbs to a Falcon Arrow and an armbar outside the ring that looked incredibly impressive. Back in the ring, Kushida remains on top, and he's going for multiple submissions here. He tries several times throughout this one to get the Gargano escape on, but Gargano manages to, well, escape the move. A neck breaker through the ropes puts Gargano in the lead, and a big old soccer kick to the arm is the receipt from Gargano to Kushida for the attack the other week. Gargano then focuses some of the offense on his arm and his neck, but Kushida starts to creep back into this, multiple pinfall attempts until both men get knocked down. Kushida starts to rev back up again, stomping on the head of Gargano, hits a lovely German suplex, hits a cravat suplex, goes for the hoverboard lock off the top rope. Gargano reverses it into a twisting suplex for a near fall. Kushida goes for a springboard, back elbow. Gargano turns that into the Gargano escape. That was mwah, chef's kisses from there. Kushida able to break out, lands a super kick on Gargano. He just seems to keep pushing back into this match from here. Kushida tries to apply the armbar onto Gargano, wrenching off that shoulder, but Gargano manages to lawn dart Kushida to break the move up. After jockeying for position for a little while longer, Kushida finally manages to hit that gorgeous avalanche hoverboard lock and locks it in nice and tight on Johnny Gargano. His feet, however, make the ropes and Gargano's able to break the move, but Kushida keeps a hand on Johnny Gargano. He breaks the hold, but he's still holding onto Johnny Gargano as they fall outside the ring. Gargano has to drive Kushida into the barricade to break the move. Gargano decides, that's it, I'm done. And he starts heading up the ramp. Kushida stops him, does a huge running soccer kick to the arm, and then they get back into the ring. You feel like this is it. Kushida runs at Gargano, puts the hoverboard lock on. Johnny's able to break it using the ropes just about. He then lands one final beat with Kushida's head cracking onto the elevated ring entrance ramp. And then Gargano starts sizing him up one more time, and we see Kushida, as he's getting to his feet, grab onto Gargano's hand once again. And Gargano sees this and goes, no chance, Sundance. One final beat, this time properly executed, bang onto the floor. 1, 2, 3. Johnny Gargano retains the North American Championship. This was a solid back and forth between these guys. It could have gone either way. Johnny Gargano has a bit of a rep for being Johnny Kickout, like Johnny False Finish. I didn't personally feel like it was too heavy. I think there was one particular moment where it really did feel like a big old false finish, but I loved every minute of this. I thought they meshed really, really well together overall. So it's good stuff. Is it a bad thing that Kushida didn't win the North American Championship? No, he's got plenty of time. There are other championships and there'll be other times for Kushida. I don't mind him losing here because, gosh, he looked unstoppable in defeat. He really did. Obviously, he was stoppable, but he looked unstoppable for a while. We come to the men's Dusty Cup final. It is MSK versus GYV. Even stuff to start off with. Carter and getting grounded by GYV, but then we see MSK pick up the pace. Fast-paced offense from them puts the Grizzled Young Veterans on the back foot for a while. Lee and Carter hit some gorgeous dives. Carter absorbs a beefy clothesline from Gibson outside the ring, and that starts to turn the tide for Gibson and Drake from here. GYV dominating Carter in the ring. Wesley getting pulled out of position by some troublemaking Gibson-flavoured shenanigans. They're very old school with stuff like that, and I'm a massive fan of that. They keep Carter on the back foot for most of this. They just keep working him over. He eventually power slides to avoid a spinning heel kick and gets the tag to Wesley, who is just on fire here. Unloads on everybody. Hits a gorgeous senton dive over the turnbuckle onto the Grizzled Young Veterans. He just looks so good here. He then follows that up with a gorgeous backflip kick onto Gibson for a near fall. MSK get motoring here. Carter lands a beauty of a springboard cut. I really love that. Gibson manages to avoid the heart attack blockbuster move they've used to win their match multiple times in the tournament. He manages to counter also a second backflip kick from Wesley. Helter Skelter 450 combo doesn't finish the match for the Grizzled Young Veterans, though. They continue to work over with a Doomsday device. However, he avoids it, does Wesley. Gets out of the Doomsday device. Carter saves him from a ticket to mayhem as well. MSK still very much in this fight from here. Standing shooting star press, followed by a Poison Rana, followed followed by a swanton, followed by a spinal tap. Big moves from MSK, but only a 2.5 at this point. They're really ramping this up as we're getting close to the end. Gibson low bridges Lee, and he gets blasted with a suicide dive doomsday device. This was just incredible outside the ring. With Gibson, with Carter on his shoulders. Here comes Drake through the ropes. Oh, and they called it on commentary. They used that move when they won the NXT UK tag titles. Back in the ring, Carter is all alone. He manages to weather a storm from Drake and from Gibson just in time. Here comes a big save from Wesley. Saves Carter from the ticket to mayhem. Soon after this, they land a springboard blockbuster heart attack. A gorgeous finish to get the 1-2-3 on the GYV. And MSK are your men's Dusty Cup winners in a phenomenal match that is worthy of an A+. The match of the night at this point, hands down, at this point in the show. Both teams were nigh on perfect here. Grizzled young veterans brought a different energy to MSK and vice versa, and I want to see these guys wrestle more. Like, there was just something really intangible about the stuff they did together. Top marks for everybody here. I really loved it as well. Also, here's something that they don't do very often with NXT. I felt like there was a lot of finisher protection here, because there was no ticket to mayhem hit, which is the big double finish from the Grizzled Young Veterans. And the only time that MSK hit their finish, that blockbuster heart attack, was the finish. So there was some protection of the finishers here, which I think I added to it as well. Big congratulations to MSK. What a great way to debut in the company. We get a music video for Cameron Grimes. It's banjo rap, essentially, with Grimes driving his Lambo, dancing around in all his money, jumping in the pool. Oh, he's great. I can't wait to see what they do with Cameron Grimes going forward. And I hope that music they use becomes his theme music. I'm just saying. The NXT Women's Championship on the line next. Triple threat style. Io Shirai versus Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez. The match starts before the intros are even made, with Martinez getting the jump on Shirai. And from here, it is just frantic action. Io and Toni and Mercedes just hitting big move after big move after big move. Io goes for an Asai moonsault to the outside early on. Martinez avoids it and throws her into the crowd. And then we see Storm and Martinez battling until Io Shirai bursts back into life with a springboard missile dropkick that sends them both flying. Her comeback immediately shut down as Storm hits a boss man slam. Martinez follows that up, clattering Storm with a gorgeous spine buster. Shirai locks in a crossface onto Storm, and Mercedes Martinez comes behind Io Shirai and locks in a dragon sleeper. Eventually, Shirai forced to break the crossface on Storm and gets a dragon suplex for her trouble as well. Martinez lands a German superplex onto Storm. Shirai follows that up, getting on top rope and hitting a double foot stomp onto Mercedes Martinez. One of the very few occasions where that double foot stomp from the Tree of Woe position actually makes sense, because Martinez was reeling from hitting the German superplex. That actually makes sense for now. Martinez drives Shirai into the barricade to take her out of this, but Toni Storm is back into this one. Here comes the gifable moment of the night. Toni Storm goes to tear the announce table off to prepare for a big move onto it, but she barely touches the darn thing and it just crumbles like she's Thanos. God, the power of Toni Storm. That table pooped its pants when it saw Toni Storm and collapsed. You see a brief moment of Toni Storm kind of going, okay, what now? And they rearranged it, so we just see Martinez land a DDT onto Storm outside the ring, and then Io Shirai, meanwhile, is climbing up the friggin' scaffolding, does a dive onto both Storm and Martinez outside the ring. Where did that go? Like, where did she go? Like, it's frantic action throughout all of this. Back in the ring, Martinez lands a Fisherman's Buster, gets a near fall from that. Toni lands Storm Zero, gets a near fall from that. Storm covers off a diving headbutt, but then as she hits it, Io Shirai hits an over the moonsault onto both of them for the 1-2-3, and Io Shirai has retained her NXT Women's Championship. This was an A. It was just non-stop. This had a different feel and a different energy to the rest of the show. There was no slow build, slow burn in this. It was like from the moment the bell went, we're literally just going to give you the last 10 minutes of an epic match. And it flew by. It was just hard-hitting, fast-paced. Everybody worked really hard in this match. And the table spot, I'm gutted for Toni for. They worked around it gorgeously, though. This was an A. What a night so far. And so we come to main event o'clock. It is Finn Bálor defending the NXT Championship against Pete Dunne. This starts off with close quarters grappling for a good long while. Big feeling out process with no clear advantage in the game of solid techers between these two. We see Dunne driving his shoulder into Balor's jaw. It's all in the subtle nuance in this match. In particular, the first 3 quarters of this match. It's in the subtle nuances. It's Balor getting his jaw smashed by Pete Dunne in subtle, unique ways. It's Pete Dunne stretching and hyperextending parts of Balor's arm and hands. It's driving his knuckles into the muscle and the forearm of Finn Bálor whilst wearing him down in a hold. It's Finn Bálor trying to find ways to turn the tide, hyperextending the ankle and the knee of Pete Dunne, thinking, well, if I'm going to have a bad arm, I'm going to give you a bad leg, you sucker. That's kind of how it worked. A gorgeous spinning brain buster turns it round for Pete Dunne after Bálor starts getting his motor running. A big lariat from Bálor turns it round once again, though. Pete is really struggling with the knee. Balor's really struggling with the arm. They're both working wounded and they're starting to pick up the pace. Dunne breaks a crossface by breaking the fingers of Finn Bálor, and he starts working over the fingers of Bálor really badly in this match, stomping on the fingers every chance he gets, pulling and tearing and popping and snapping them every time he's got a hand of Balor's in his vicinity. Dunne stomps on the arm and the fingers of Bálor several times in this, but Bálor keeps the pressure on with a backstabber and a final cut. He goes for the coup de grace, but Dunne manages to counter it with a triangle choke. So as Balor's flying through the air, Dunne turns it into a triangle choke. Near finish from that. Dunne able to lock it in, but the hold is broken when Balor gets his foot on the ropes. But Balor is out. Balor is out on this one. The referee even checking on Balor to make sure he's okay. Balor just about able to say, I can still go. He checks on him. He's like, yeah, I'm still good to carry on. Balor gets a desperation abdominal stretch in onto Pete Dunne. This is the move that finished off Kyle O'Reilly in their last encounter. He locks the hands as well until Dunne is able to snap the fingers of Balor to smithereens once again. You can see the pain on Balor's face as Pete Dunne continues just to snap and crackle and pop at these fingers. Dunne hits a low blow whilst he's going for the bitter end. He uses Balor's own hand to force a low blow, and we get the nearest of near falls from that bitter end as well. Dunne stomps more on Balor's hands. Balor counters with a powerbomb, with a DDT. He then counters a bitter end with a reverse DDT for a 2 count. He refuses at one point to let go of Balor's fingers as Pete Dunne. Despite being pinned, Dunne is holding onto the fingers, snaps them once more. Finn, desperate, lands a stomp onto Dunne's back, pulls up Dunne, and he removes Pete Dunne's mouth shield. Pulls it out of his face, and then lands a big low drop kick right into the teeth of Pete Dunne. Balor is rolling at this point. He follows it up with the coup de grace and the 1916 and gets the 1, 2, 3. A gritty, hard-fought, fully engaging match ends with Balor on top. As Balor's heading backstage on the ramp, he tries to do the Bullet Club thing, but his fingers are so bent and broken that he can't make the shape of the guns. Just stuff like that, simple stuff like that wins the day. Then he's jumped by the Britann Brawlers. They start battering Finn Bálor until the Undisputed Era hit the ring to make the save. Kyle O'Reilly helps Balor up, and he's sort of pointing at the Undisputed Era crest on his jumper. There's an alliance here. They all stand together as the credit appears in the corner. They throw up the Undisputed Eras, and Balor's about to throw up the guns, and boom! Adam Cole with a super kick to Finn Bálor. Knocks him down. Kyle O'Reilly's like, what are you doing? Cole is furious, and he ends up super kicking Kyle O'Reilly as well before making his exit. And Roderick Strong is stood there, caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, with Adam Cole storming off up the ramp, and O'Reilly and Balor out cold from super kicks. And that is how we go off the air. We take over Vengeance Day. A+ for this main event. Unquestionably, a great energy, a gritty, raw fight. This felt so special. This felt like a big match, and Dunne absolutely rose to the occasion. Felt like a complete contender in there with Balor. Balor was excellent here, and that finish very much caught us off guard. And off we go with the Undisputed Era Civil War that is about to break out. Will Balor join the Undisputed Era? Will Adam Cole recruit some lads? Does Pat McAfee get involved? I guess we're going to find out in times to come. But what a solid main event to a solid wrestling show. One that I am proud to give an A+ to. Once again, NXT TakeOver with a card that looks relatively weak on paper. That's no disrespect to the performers, but a card that seemed to have like 5 matches without some big players part of it. And they put on the best show. They just continue to absolutely shine in moments like this. So another amazing NXT TakeOver. Another act for other companies and other brands to follow. NXT, once again. Yeah. You're good, aren't you? You're good, aren't you? It's good. It's good. I know I'm the NXT guy, but this was a good night of wrestling. Good night of wrestling. A romantic night of wrestling. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.